lied. I'd blaze his Yule in a heartbeat if I thought he was interested, but he was most decidedly not. Every neighborhood interaction tended to turn frosty in a hurry, which was a shame because we were both single men of a certain age. According to Cheryl, who had an unparalleled talent for getting details, he'd never been married and didn't have kids. What he did have was a discreet rainbow on his truck and business logo. And over 40 unattached homeowners who were possibly into guys didn't come along all that often in our sleepy suburb. So, understandably, I'd initially been gleeful when he'd moved in. But 4 years of terse interactions said that short, geeky, snappy dressers didn't float his particular boat. Or maybe it was my relentless optimism. Maybe he was allergic to smiles and needed someone similarly dour to hang with. Not that I'd seen him date. No hookups escaping late at night or early morning either. And yes, I was a nosy enough neighbor that I'd know. Well, he's not the only new face tonight. This crowd is an excellent omen. Cheryl patted me on the sleeve as I removed my stack of handouts from my leather messenger bag. The big turnout is great, but we may need more snacks. I gestured at the table, which was already running short on cookies and coffee cups. I'm on it. Smiling deviously, she retrieved an extra platter of turkey-shaped cookies from under the table. Think Paul will actually decorate this year? That would be a pleasant change. This was my 3rd year as holiday chair, and if I'd learned anything, it was that Paul Frost didn't do seasonal celebrations and quite possibly went into hibernation each December. No parties, no appearance at Cheryl's big New Year's Eve celebration, no neighborly food offerings, and nary as much as a wreath or single strand of lights. I suppose we should get started. After setting out the fresh platter of cookies, Cheryl clapped her hands with all the authority of a woman who'd raised 4 sons to adulthood. Now, I'm sure you're all here for Gideon's decorating plans, but before we get to that, we have some housekeeping. The first snow is coming soon, and you'll want to remember our shared sidewalk obligations. Cheryl had a number of such reminders before moving on to new business. The Morrisons have raised the issue of the high schoolers. Again. This got a murmur from the crowd. Paul straightened up from his earlier lazy sprawl. Ah, maybe he wasn't here about my decorating after all. And undoubtedly he sided with the only residents who were possibly bigger Scrooges than him. The Morrisons loved to complain. This time it was about the increasing number of young people who were cutting through the park to reach the high school on the other side and trudging across the shared green space maintained by the neighborhood association. The lack of a formal path meant they left muddy footprints and trash in their wake. We need to fence off the area. Mr. Morrison went right to his preferred solution for everything. Close access, post signs, big signs. Yes, that's one idea. Cheryl's tone was way nicer than he deserved. Proper signage is always a good step. This is a problem. We can't keep letting them strut on through like they own the place. Morrison's rant got several nods from the crowd. Sure we can. Paul spoke clearly from his spot, not bothering to stand or raise his hand, but he had the sort of voice that when he spoke, people tended to listen. Deep, gravelly, working-class Philly with a little hint of Jersey. His sort of blunt directness always impressed me, the way a tell-it-like-it-is person could cut through a lot of game-playing and posturing. And this was a stunning turn of events. My head whipped toward Morrison, eager to see how he'd respond. Paul taking the side of the high schoolers caused wide eyes all around the room, and more than one swift intake of breath. High drama for a Tuesday night around here. Let them continue to cut through? Morrison's skin was getting all splotchy pink, and a sheen of sweat appeared on his forehead. We can't make it that easy on them. They're kids, Paul shrugged, completely unmoved by Morrison's bluster. They're trying to get to the school fast, often in bad weather. Let them cut through. But let's make it even easier. Easier? Why would we do that? Now, Ernest, let's hear Paul's idea. Cheryl made a sit-down motion with her hand that Morrison ignored. What you need is a path, a real path. Add a trash can at each end to handle the litter issue. Paths cost money, Cheryl spoke before Morrison or someone else could. The community center itself was held together with love and